Hello, I am once again very late to this video, but like I said with the Luminkey 80, better late than never. And as the video name implies, this is the newest offering from Luminkey, their 65 version. And I'm curious to see if this holds the same, or hopefully better, value proposition than its bigger brother. So let's check it out. Aesthetically, I guess the first thing you'll notice is that I have a two-tone case, because the original silver case that they sent me got dented in shipping. So they sent me a new one, and it happens to be cream. But putting that aside, the 65 carries over the same minimalist and geometric design from the 80 with the similar wedge side profile, the new trapezoidal engravings instead of the triangle on the decently thick copper weight, and now with the added replaceable RGB badge cluster above the backspace. Internally, we have a similarly thin alu sheet that covers the battery department and gives room to, unfortunately, a ribbon cable. Not the biggest fan coming off of the QK and Neo boards, but I guess we'll make do. But moving on, the cream ano on my unit is actually pretty close to traditional ano. It's decently smooth, but traditional ano is still a hair smoother. Keycap wise, as I did get the pre-built unit, it's actually pretty acceptable. The legends are a little bit on the thicker, compact side, but definitely better than what I've seen on some included keycaps. Overall, I have to say aesthetically, it's pretty inoffensive, and I think fits right at home with my office's overly sage and neutral color tone. Before we get to additional sound tests, I do want to air some grievances. One, the PC plate that comes with the kit only uses plate mount stabs, which I'll be okay with if all the other plates also use plate mount stabs, but they don't. So if you wanted to use another plate, you'd have to source another set of stabs. Two, on the note of the included plate, you are limited to 6.25U spacebar, which means if you wanted to use 7U, you need a new plate, and the previous point applies. And finally, this is more of a nitpick than anything else, but if you use an alu plate and you don't use shine through keycaps, it's very hard to see which indicator is actually shining through for Bluetooth. I don't use Bluetooth, but it's good to know. And with that out of the way, let's start tinkering with this thing. Oh, I almost dropped it. Sound-wise, it's quite reminiscent of the 80, considering we're still using the same Gateron Sylva switches in here, which have like a medium to full sound profile to them. For the Luminkey 65 as a whole, I do have to say it leaned towards being higher pitched acoustically. While it's far from being the worst board that I've ever built, I do have to say the overall sound profile is a bit on the quieter, thinner side of the sound spectrum, especially with no foam. And it's still quite comfortable to type on, even with the alu plate, as the gaskets have quite a amount of give to them. But I do have to say they're probably not helping with the overall fullness considering how small those contact patches are, if that makes any sense. But with all that said, price to value wise, with the bare bones kit starting at $139 and the pre-built that I have in front of me starting at $180, which in the grand scheme of things, for those looking to get into the hobby or potentially get a second board for work, it's a bit hard to recommend, mainly because Neo series exists. While I will say I do prefer the overall elevated aesthetics and the fit and finish of the Luminkey 65, that's kind of where it stops. The lack of color options, customizability, and more importantly, the price point are what I feel is holding the Luminkey 65 back. And I get that's a really big ask considering the sheer scale of QK Neo, but unfortunately for the space that they're competing in, that's kind of how it goes. However, if you vibe with the aesthetics, sound profile, and the weird quirk with the stabs, and it's a price point that's comfortable for you, I think you'd be more than happy with what Luminkey 65 has to offer. If you want to learn more about the board, you can check out the links down below. If you want to see more of my stuff, you can click on either side of my face. I've got some cool stuff in the works. But yeah, take care, have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one.